Greetings everyone, I'm Kate Allen here. I want to welcome you back to my series on the creative process through the lens of the Tarot Suit of Cups. For this month, I pulled the King of Cups from this deck, the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. And in this deck, the King of Cups is sitting on his throne, holding a golden chalice, a cup, in one hand, and a golden scepter, symbol of his sovereignty, in the other. And he's looking right at the viewer of the card with a rather serious expression on his face. When I look at this card, I see a figure of enormous power. And all the kings in tarot are figures of power. But unlike, say, the King of Wands, who is representative of fire and passion, when I think of passion, I think of something that can burn out. And when I think of the King of Cups, who is sovereign over the emotional landscape, the container of emotion, the cup, I think of somebody who has done his work, who has not ignored his emotions. He hasn't let them spill out. He has taken an inventory of everything in his cup, and he's able to hold it without even needing to look at the cup to make sure it's not spilling. He knows exactly what's in that cup, and he is not only aware of everything there, but he's able to harness the power of what's in that cup for his own purposes. And that is power. In terms of creative process, I see a person who is so in touch with his emotions that he is able to channel the emotions into bold, compelling, maybe even brilliant art. And I also see a figure who is so adept at observing his own emotions that he rarely, if ever, lets his emotions stop him from doing what he chooses to do, including art. I went to see The Cure recently for the first time. And before this year, I didn't really know their music, except for a couple of their most popular songs. And the person who invited me to the concert sent me a playlist of songs that she hoped that they would play. And as the concert drew nearer, I ended up, I like to say, I was studying. I was studying the songs, especially the ones that kept showing up on set lists for the concerts that were happening just before the one I went to. And so when I arrived at the concert, I still didn't know the words to any one song. I mean, I knew pieces of songs, but I couldn't have sung a whole song from memory. But I was familiar enough with their music that their cadences and their tones were familiar. And that allowed me to have a rather rare sort of experience, because I've been to many concerts of many kinds. And as a person who has extensive musical training, the thing that I always bring to concerts is a love of being able to imitate music as precisely as possible. And The Cure they don't do the kind of music that invites precise imitation. It's not like that. And I found as I was at this concert that I was invited by the style of Robert Smith and all the other members of The Cure. I was invited to experience the music through the doorway of my emotions and my feelings, which was a very different sort of thing than entering music through my love of precise imitation. I have an exercise that I'd like to invite you into with all this in mind. So I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes. Or if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, you can soften your gaze. And I invite you to take a deep breath. Allow yourself to relax as you continue to breathe in and out. And then allow yourself to bring to mind an emotion that you've experienced recently. I invite you to name that emotion. And then I invite you to feel it a little, as if you were listening to a song on the lowest volume that you could still hear. And then I invite you to gradually raise that volume and raise it and breathe and raise it until the feeling surrounds you and your body is throbbing with this emotion as if you were at a rock concert. And I invite you to really feel it. And then I invite you to bring the volume gradually back down and breathe. And bring it down. And then when it's soft, thank that emotion for being present to you and let it go. As you continue to breathe, I invite you to notice how you feel now. How does it feel in your body compared to when we started? Is it the same? Is it different? Did any memories come up? Now, I invite you to imagine this emotion in your own golden chalice. And I want you to imagine your observations of this experience of letting the emotion surround you. Imagine those observations as your golden scepter. Imagine yourself as the King of Cups. And you're not looking at your golden chalice of emotion, and you're not looking at your ability to observe your scepter. You're looking at something else. What do you see? I invite you to put on a song that reflects whatever you've just seen. And I invite you to play it as you create something, anything. And I want you to keep in mind that you're not required to imitate anything with precision. The invitation is to feel whatever it is you feel and to create something, anything, from that authentic feeling. As always, I want to express my gratitude to my sticky ones, the Patreon patrons, who have supported this series and so much of my other work. Thank you. I look forward to drawing the card for June, early on in June, and I will record the video sometime later in June. And I'll post it first for my Patreon patrons, the sticky ones, and then I'll post it for the public. I hope you have a marvelous day, and I will see you next time.